Hello! Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. The cards I'm using for this week are The Art of Love Tarot by Denise Jarvie, artwork by Tony Carmine Salerno. See if we can get that all in there and then get it a little closer so you can freeze frame and get the spellings of that if you want. There is a website on the back. It is blueangelonline.com. There's even some verbiage there if you're interested in it. That's for the tarot portion. And the Oracle cards, Magical Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish, illustrated by Jesse Reish, and at the bottom is the website hayhouse.com. And lastly, I do use dice for this. They're from amazon.com. This is what they are. They're metal dice. I use the 20 dice for the major arcana. 21 is missing, obviously, but I just work with it. And then for the minor arcana, I use the 4 dice, the 1 through 4, to decide which element. So I start with fire, earth, water, air. That's how I do it. Fire, earth, I think so. And then whatever that lands on, that's what I go with. And then it's a 1 to 12 dice. 1 being the ace and 12 being the knight. I just work, it doesn't have the queen and king, but I roll with it. It works for me, in case you're wondering. All right, thank you for tuning into this week, and now on to your read. Hello, Taurus. Thank you for tuning in to this week's read. This reading is valid for whenever you come to it. That being said, what do we got for Taurus? Perseverance. 9 of Wands. Perseverance, huh? Okay, we can go with that. It's a little muddled up here. So, the other 2 earth signs, Virgo and Capricorn, I did those. I'm sensing a theme with the 3 y'all. You have the 7 of Swords. I'm getting a theme here. Something about, well, let's be sure, because let's see where it goes, because if I have to go into that, we will. The other 2 had this thing with the stubborn energy, which I don't think is a bad thing. Let's see if it goes there or not. Because I keep feeling like it's gonna, but let's find out. And it's not a bad energy in my opinion. It's just, is it working to your benefit or to your detriment? And as long as you can see it and you see where it's going, you'll be okay. So let's keep that in the back of our minds and see if that's where this goes, because we got Taurus going on, which is a leader energy typically. And I'm getting like, there's something here in the past that makes you uncomfortable because things went your way, but it doesn't make sense why it did. And that seems to be like just sitting here in the past. Something went your way, but you're not sure really why it did, or if it's gonna, like what type of repercussions you could have down the road over it. I feel like I haven't been able to get answers on that. And it's just every now and then when I think of it, I'm not comfortable with it. It's kind of like, somebody pulling out extra money and you don't know where that money came from, but it did help you get through this situation, but you're like, well, where did you get that from? And they just don't tell you, and you're like, I don't like this. I don't know where that came from. I don't feel like that's stable. I'm not even sure if I should have had it. Kind of weird. It's kind of weirding me out. It just kind of sits in your brain. Like, maybe it's not a bad thing, but you don't have the facts. So like, why is that there? Why did you get it? And it just makes you uncomfortable is what I'm getting. Something like that, where it just always sits in the back of your brain. Like, I don't know if I should be okay with that. This situation, the question is it time to leave this situation? Same situation where there's something in the past here that went your way, but you don't understand why it did. I feel like it just sits there and it just like makes you uncomfortable. Like, I don't know, something doesn't feel right. I don't know if I like it. And it's kind of like you're holding the ground, but this energy, it says perseverance, but like the 9 of Wands to me is holding ground. It can be construed as a stubborn energy. But it's kind of like, should I be or shouldn't I be? Do I really want to? Should I just ignore this moment and just keep going and just act like everything is fine? Or should I demand answers and should I really kind of push it? There's a reason you haven't up to this point. And whatever that reason is, it's still there. So if this reading is hitting, you haven't pushed the envelope. And there's a good reason for it. That reason still applies. You want to believe in somebody, but I feel like I know this isn't right. I know something isn't right. I want to believe in people. I want to have that loyalty. I want to stick through this situation, but something isn't right. I keep getting this, I keep getting that energy here. There's other cards around here. Like you got the Ten of Swords here, which I haven't shown yet. If you're wondering why I'm saying that, because you're like, but those are good cards, James. Yeah, well, there's other things backing it up. Was that the 13? If I could read dice. Yep, 13, which is the Death card, kind of like floating in and out here. And then the Two of Pentacles, the Angels or Swords, that's the Ten of Swords. This is telling me it bothers you. It's just the longer it goes, the more it bothers you. It just doesn't leave you. And the question is, should I try to get over it and just not ruin something that's good? Or is your intuition telling you something? Or does part of you know that this is not where you should be? Something isn't right here. And maybe you should leave now while the going is still good. Which Taurus is not one to give up. So that's a lot. So that's a lot to do that. Taurus, like, especially if you're looking at it like, if I move on from this, is that a version of giving up? Because Taurus doesn't give up. That's just like, you say give up to a Taurus, and they're like, I've heard of that concept, but what is that really? Taurus doesn't really do that. You stick things through to the end. Very loyal, very dedicated. I've known Taurans in the past that they've lost jobs, and it sent them right into a tailspin, to the point where they had to see a psychiatrist and figure out what they were going to do next, because it threw them way off. Like, that's the level of dedication I am familiar with a Taurus. Like, not all Tauruses are the same, I know that, and I'm not saying that's going to happen to you, but I'm just saying Taurus dedication is beyond, like, dedication is the thing. Again, people say, you should give up, Taurus, and you're like, oh, I've heard of this concept, but it's very foreign. Don't really know what you're talking about. Information is about to come your way. Somebody's going to try to help you see what's really going on here. This is the change that's going to happen here, because I'm getting, the Star card is very smart, very intellectual, and I am getting like an Ace of Swords feel from that, but it's obviously not the Ace of Swords. But the reason I'm saying that too, Star card sometimes talks about Aquarius. Aquarius is air. Air is also the swords, in case you're wondering where my train of thought's coming from. I do get somebody is coming forward with information and letting you know, hey, Taurus, this is where that came from. Hey, Taurus, this is what's going to happen. This is what they're expecting. This is where this is going to go down the road. Somebody is telling you the truth, and I feel like it's somebody who can like say, and you see this is how that happened to that person had that happen to them. And you see this person over there, you can go ask them what they got, and then ask them where it went. Like, I feel like somebody's not only giving you information, but they're saying, this is where you can go to find out, and that's where you could go to verify this. And, here's this. Find your own way to verify it, but there's more here. Like, somebody's trying to help you out. It's an uncomfortable moment. How do you feel about this person? I feel like it's uncomfortable, like, for obvious reasons. It's making me uncomfortable. 9 of Swords, half in, half out. There's stress, and then that 17 again, which is the Star card. They don't want to see this happen to you. They've seen it happen to other people. This is somebody who just doesn't want this to happen to you, and I feel like you're not really sure about this person. I feel like this is not somebody you normally gravitate towards, or somebody really, I don't think you spend much time with this person usually, or they're just not your cup of tea, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like, it just reminds me of, I'm seeing a person in my own life where I know they're a good person, but I don't really trust their reasoning skills, if that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, they're a good person. I'm pretty confident with that, but the way they value things and how they reason things out, not sure I'm really a fan of that. Even though they come from a good place, doesn't mean they go where I want them to or where I think they should. It's uncomfortable, but they give you ways to prove it. They're trying to show you, they're like, this doesn't need to happen to you, Taurus. There's the possibility of a new beginning here.
There's the possibility here, and I feel like this is kind of like advice. The situation coming forward, you're going from the Nine of Wands to the Seven of Wands. Now the difference is the Nine of Wands is like trying to hold people back. No. I got that backwards. The Seven of Wands is holding things back. The Nine of Wands is holding things in. I think that's the difference between the two. Well, that's how this reading is going. This is holding it and like I have to keep it here and trying to keep it in. It's like if you have like chickens, for example, and you put them in a pen, I got to keep them in this pen so I can keep them safe. That's the Nine of Wands. That's where you're coming from. I'm keeping it in. I'm keeping it here. I'm containing it. You're switching to the Seven of Wands, which is like keeping things out. It's kind of like, okay, I have these chickens inside this fence, and now I have some predators coming up to the other side of the fence. I have to keep them out so they don't get what I have in here. So that's the difference between the two, is the way I understand it, just to be fair. And I'm an intuitive reader anyway, so like take it with a grain of salt. The reason this is coming up is kind of like you need to see this and kind of prove it for yourself. You need to kind of like, all right, somebody told you there's predators out there. You have to verify that there are now. You have to see, is that predator energy real? So it's kind of like I'm blocking things so it can't get in, but now I have to like, I find a way to check, like, is that predator threat real? That's this next, I just kind of explained it there. The advice here, well, I'll go with what they say not to do. Don't just assume that things are going to work out for you if you're loyal. This is ironic. This is the Lover's card, but to me this is a very intimate version of the Lover's card. It's very like, you know, I look out for you, you look out for me. But I'm getting this is not what's happening. This might kind of like, it'll work out. I work hard, I do what I need to do, I help people, I've shown the dedication. As long as I just need to have faith that if I keep looking out for them, when the chips are down, they'll look out for me. I'm getting don't do this. This is not going to go in your favor. Because even if they're able to look out for you, they may not anyway. And they may not be even able to, depending on what happens going forward. Keep that in mind. So, even if they are able to, I'm not getting that this is going in your favor. Being loyal in this situation is going to be loyal to a fault. Take it with a grain of salt. The advice is to start researching your options and try to start looking for your way out. Honestly looking for your way out. So if we're going to do, say it was the job, it could be anything, could be family, friends, could be a lot, could be an investment, whatever it is. But we're just going to do the job analogy just because it's easiest for me to do right now. This situation is looking like it's going to go sour. Other people have gotten certain promotions, and down the road, the people that have gotten these promotions have also become the scapegoat when other people get in hot water. They're like, not my fault. Person that got promoted, their fault. Not my fault. Taurus's fault. Yep, Taurus's fault. Do your research that way, but also do your research kind of like, okay, I'm not hanging out and waiting to be blamed for something that I didn't do. I'm not going to be the scapegoat for something that maybe somebody's setting up the situation so that they can put the blame on me and make me the scapegoat for something while they get away with something. This universe card, what is this? The universe, which is the world. Change is afoot. Start looking for change. Where else can you go? What other options do you have out there? Start looking at them now. It may even be easier, like, what other companies do what you do? What other places are offering jobs? And even if it's a pay cut, maybe it's a good to go now before something happens and you're just kind of out there in the cold anyway and you have no choice and you just got to take whatever you can get. Things are more at your advantage at this point. Start looking for another place to go, especially when you verify that this has happened to other people. Just start looking other places and see what else is out there for you. This is your chance for a new beginning. If you do it now, this should go a lot easier, hopefully. You don't have to wait for the tower to come in. Unfortunately, that is here. The question is the tower going to fall when you're in it? Or is the tower going to fall when somebody else is in it? So let me do this a little better. Is the tower going to fall when you're next to it or when somebody else is next to it? If you leave this situation and get the change before this tower falls, it doesn't fall on you. It doesn't fall on you. It's stress. Ooh. It's going to fall on somebody else, but I feel like it's going to fall on the person who has it coming. Just be fair. Just to be fair. If you hang out and you stick here, this is that stubborn energy. Is it going for you or against you? So if you stick this out and you hold on, again, I don't feel like this is giving up. I feel like this is making a different decision, a better decision, and changing the direction, the course of what's going, because it's not going to happen in 2 minutes, but you'll get out of here before there's a problem. And that way it doesn't fall on you. This doesn't have to fall on you. It's not easy. It's not easy, and it's not something you're going to like to do because you are very dedicated, but if you start looking now in at these other options, you could find something else that has a better reputation, that treats people better, whether it be a job or something else. And you could be like, you know what, I'd really love to. I have other people I know. People get treated really, really well there. I wish I could live. I wish I worked at a place like that. Let's not wish. Let's go to that website. They probably have one for that company. What's on their career tab? What would get you in the door? What's acceptable that would get you in the door? Maybe it's not the perfect job that you want, but they probably have something there that you could start stepping in the door, and things can go well for you. Telemarketers, really? Be loyal to something that's worth your loyalty. This is time to change direction and be loyal to something that's actually worth your loyalty. Anything else? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.